Okay, in this tutorial, we are going to discuss about a data validation. I know many of you already know that how we can apply or how we have to use the data validation for creating the drop downs. But today we will check what else we can do with the data validation, not only creating the drop downs. So first thing first that we will create a simple drop down for those who will not know how data validation work. So if you already know this part, then you can also skip this part from this tutorial and move on to the next part of this video. So here let me create this one. So let's just right click over here where you want to have a drop down, where you want to apply the data validation, and go for the view more selections and then data validation. This is the window that will be popped here. The first thing is the cell range. That cell range means where you want to apply the data validation. If you want to apply data validation more than one cell, then you have to give it the right range. For example, I will write here the F5. So it will apply it on these three cells. For example, if you can't understand this or you don't want to go for writing over here, you can just click over here and just select the range of whatever you want. So in my case, I just select this one. So here is the criteria, and in this criteria there are a bunch of options available. So we will discuss later in this tutorial, but one thing I will select that is the list from the range. So next is you have to give the range. Either you can manually write the range or you can just click over here, select the range. Okay, and after that there is two options on invalid data. For example, if anyone want to add the data in these select in this cell that is not relevant, that you think that, and that should be only this data, not any else data, so you can reject the input. And this is not about rejecting the input, but you can also appear a text message for them, just like, for example, I will write here that this is not the right input, please check again. Okay, so I will click on save. My data validation has been created. The same with the drop down. For example, if I will write it here that country, enter, so it gives me error that there was a problem. What is the problem? That's the custom message. This is not the right input, please check again. This is the same message that I have typed in. So this is the simple usage of a data validation. So let's move on to the next thing that you can also do with the data validation. So I will consider this cell again, and for example I will go for the data validation, and here is also a list of items. For example, if you don't reference any cell here, you just only want to write something else like approve or not approved. Okay, and after that you will click on the save. Now the same thing happened. The two drop down has been the one drop down, but with the two options that was not available in the file or in the reference anywhere. That is only the one that you have typed it. So for example, the same case will be applied here. I will write it in progress. So the problem. Okay, let's move on to the next point. The next point is the number. For example, you are working on some kind of the trackers for the employees, where you have the different departments or something like this, and each department has been given a certain range of employee numbers. So you have a tracker and you don't want that the tracker got mixed up with the numbers, with the ranges. So when anyone is giving the giving the employee number, so in that case you can limit it with the range, with the numbers. So here is the number, the criteria, and after that you can also assign another criteria. Either the number should be in between, should be less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to. For example, if I will take the less than, the number should be less than 100. I will click on save. Now dropdown has been disappeared. Now let's write 99. It's give me the correct input. Now the error, for example 99.1, because the number is still below than the 100. Now I will go for the 200. It's not working. So for this I will go again. Let's check with the in between. So for example, for one department I have assigned a range of 1000 till 1999. 1 2 3. Okay, and for the ending is 1999. Okay, then save. So if anyone will working on that tracker, when he or she will write, for example, there is a range from 0 to 999, that is assigned to some other department, and we have, for example, write the 700, it shows me problem, that there is an input problem. And when we'll write the 1000, that will be accepted. 1999, that will also accept it. For example, if I will write the 4000, that will not be accepted. So this is basically the also usage of a data validation to limit the cells with some numbers range, with some criterias or something else that you only want as per your need. So this is the optimum way of usage of a data validation. Rather than applying some bunch of different formulas to attaining the same function, you can do with the data validation. Next, move on to the text. For example, you want that there is certain type of text that you can type in over here in this cell. Other than that, there is no text allowed. So that's the option that you can do. For example, anything that's come with the approved should be here. Okay, so approved on save. Let's delete this. For example, I will write here approved. This is accepted. Next again, not approved, accepted. If I will write it country, not approved, because this is the not right input. For example, I will write it country approved. Now accepted, because this text, the whole text contains the approved, and if the cell will not contain anything like the approved, it will not accept. Just like that, for example, you are writing the quantity of the bags, and I want that whenever any person will write the quantity, it will also write the bags as well as a text. So I will write here the bags. Okay, so let's see, I will write here the 5. No, your employee or the person who is working on this spreadsheet will got the error until unless you will write here the 5 packs. The next is the date. For example, there is a problem. For example, let's say there is a problem that every time you can't type the date in the cell and you want something, a calendar will be popped here so that you can select it from there. So for this is the date, and after that the sub criterias. I will select it, the is valid date here, and save it. Let's remove this. So whenever I will click the double click over here, so it will give me a calendar. The calendar will be popped here that will show me that whichever the date you want to select, you can do that. In this way, you can not type the date here every time. You can just double click on any cell, a calendar will be here, and you can choose whatever you want to choose. Now, for example, you are maintaining some brackets and you don't want that the person or anyone who will add the entry here in this spreadsheet should not write the date from the backward. The date should be for today or the greater than the today, not the previous day dates or the previous dates in this data if anyone is trying to add a new entry. So for this you can also manipulate with the data validation. So go for the data validation. Here is another thing. So let's say is equal to specific dates. If the specific date is equal, then it will be accepted, other than that not. Then the before and on or before, then after, on or after. So the date that you will mention, for example, I will write here before. So the date that I will mention here, it will be it will work according to that date for the before. And let's say for the after, the date that I will mention here, it will only accept date after that date. And for the before, it will only accept the date before than that date. So I will select the on and after. So what it will do, it will take the date on that and after that. So here I will write the today formula and save. So let's say I will click here. Today is the same date. I will select the previous day date. I cannot select the date. Let's see, can I go further? Yes, I can go further. So this is the way that you can limit your spreadsheet by entering the wrong dates into your spreadsheet. The dates that you only want, or in between or something like this, whatever so the criteria that you want, that your date should be entered according to that way. Now we will go with another feature with the data validation. So in this case, I will select the custom formula. But let me remove the data validation from here so I can apply it something else, somewhere else that I want to show something else to you. So the data validation removed. I will apply the data validation here. So go for the data validation, check the custom formula is okay. This is the custom formula. For example, I have this table. I only want to allow the users to sum in this way only, not in this way, in this cell. So we can also limit this thing in with the help of the data validation. Let me show you how I can or how you can do this. So first of all, we need the reference of this cell. This cell has the reference here already, so we will keep it copy and is equal to this, should be equal to, now the bracket start, right? So this one, or you can apply the sum, but I will write, because I have only 3 cells, so I will not apply the sum. I will only do it by manual. So it is the B3 copy plus C3 plus D3. Now the bracket closed. Oops, the 3 was outside that brackets. So let me check the formula again, and yeah, reject the input. I will not assign any help test, that you also know that how to assign it. So okay, then save. Now let's say I will sum here, not in this way but in this way. Rejected the input. Okay, Let's say I will type sum here. What is the sum for this? This is the sum. Oh, let me copy this format here. 222. I will write here 221, not accepted. 222, that is accepted, right? So let's say 223, not accepted. So in this way, because this is the way that you can apply some custom formulas to limit someone for doing something else. I hope that you have learned something new with this tutorial. If you have learned, please do like this tutorial, and also don't forget to mention your comments and suggestions down below. We will see you in the next tutorial. Until then, take care, good care, and keep watching 5-minute session.
Fearless.